What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Gotta Get Back, the Samurai Jack Review Show. Welcome to episode 48, guys. My name is Kyle, your host. If you haven't seen Project Potter before, thanks for stopping by. This is the Samurai Jack Review. Every episode, guys, we do a recap. We do a favorite character, a favorite scene. We do a score out of 10, and then we do some trivia at the end sometimes. So kicking it off here with the recap here, guys. We open up with Aku, and he's looking kind of bored, like he usually is. He's on the phone. He's like, yes, operator. He's like, yes, I'll hold. And then he's, ordering. It sounds like he's ordering pizza, basically, where he's like, yes, large, and he's like extra thick. And what he's actually doing is ordering like a minion, basically. And so he's like 30 minutes or less, and it's free. And then it ends up showing up like immediately with him, and it's like this big dumb goof like ogre guy. Robot, and he shows up and he's like, I think I know why you're here, but just in case you need a refresher, he's like, destroy Samurai Jack. And the guy is seen getting in like his tiny car, and he's speeds away. Jack takes him on one hit, of course, and we get this montage of like these different minions, these different giant robots basically that are being ordered by Aku, showing up to the field where Jack is. And like this one guy has like a super long drill like gun thing, and he just fires like the world's smallest bullet at Jack and easily deflects it. So all these different robots are seen. There's like guys with swords and shields. Jack takes them out so easily. And Aku's like, well, you know what they say, if you want something done, you gotta do it yourself. And he's like, do it yourself. And he shows up and he's like, Aku. And then he's like, hey, hold on. He's like, we're gonna settle this mano-y-mano. He's like, but you're not gonna use your sword. And Jack's like, he's like, not use my sword. He's like, okay, I'll agree to this, but only on one term. He's like, couple rules. He's like, no shape shifting, no minions, and he's like, you have to be in the human form. And Aku's like, oh. He's like, all right. So they agree to fight, and they go to like this arena or whatever. It's just like a desert wasteland basically. And Aku shows up, and he's got like this goofy looking beard, and he's kind of ripped. And Jack like takes his gi off, and they start fighting. And there's this like back and forth where they're running around and they're like punching each other, but then Aku is too strong. So Jack ends up hiding his sword. And Aku is like, he tries to fight Jack evenly for a little bit. He tries stretching and all that, and he can't do that. And then he's getting his ass whooped by Jack, basically, where Jack is like fighting him, and he gets him on the pillars, and he's like got a stick, and he's like hitting him. And then he's like, your reign of terror is over, Aku. And then like the pillar behind him falls, and he's like, Aku, that pillar didn't move on its own. He's like, yes, it did. And then he's like chasing after him. He kind of shapeshifts a little bit, and then Jack's like running after him, and he gets a little like Aku thing through the ground that grabs his foot, and he's like, Aku, you said no shape shifting. And he's like, right. And he's like, all right, well, if you're going to cheat, then I'm going to get my sword. And he goes to grab his sword, and he's like, oh, a fake? And he's like, aha. He's like, I knew you were going to grab your sword. So he's like, I got my minion to go grab it for you. And then Jack is like, actually, Aku, he's like, I knew you would cheat. So he's like, I put a bunch of fake swords all over here. He's like, you just need to guess the real one. And there's like 20 or 25 different fake swords with all Aku's minions who like found it. Just like these skull guys. And he's like, how about this one? How about this one? No? Is it this one? Is it this one? Then he gets really frustrated, and he's like, ah. And then Jack just like steps back, and he just like puts his foot over some dirt, and it reveals the real sword underneath. And he grabs it, and he starts heading towards Aku, and he jumps at him, and he like gets most of him. He kind of poofs into this little bat, and he's like, samurai. He's like, I will return. And he's like, good. He's like, and I'll be waiting. And he's like, no matter how long it takes, I will defeat you, Aku. And he sheathes his sword, stands there like a badass, and that is how this episode ends. Okay, guys, the magic sword, it's Jack. He out tricks Aku. He understands that Aku can't be trusted, and he knows he can't be trusted. So he tricks him and then pretends to be tricked. And then he's like, oh, actually, I knew that you knew that I would trick you. So he's like, actually, I would hit a bunch of fake swords. So Jack knows Aku's tactics, and he gets ahead of him, or he knows better than Aku. And so Samurai Jack, of course, he's a superior fighter when you take away the shape-shifting and all that. And he's just a better mastermind too. So he gets my magic sword for this week. So a portal in time for this week, it's just got to be that shot where Aku's got like 20 different minions, and they're all holding up the fake sword. Like it's a bunch of different fake swords, and Jack is just like sitting there watching. He's just like waiting to see what happens. And so that was just my favorite moment. I think it was a really clever touch that Jack did there. A score for this one, guys. Honestly, I wasn't crazy about this episode. It was really like light-hearted and like goofy and not serious. And I get that's what they're going for, but I like the ones that are dark and serious. That's why I like the haunted house one so much. So for me, this is a 7-1. It was all right. There was a twist with Jack at the end there, but it was just kind of like when he's fighting Aku like with his fist, it's like, dude, just grab your sword. And I don't know. It just seems like he like slices Aku, and then like Aku turns into this little bat, and he's like right above him, and Jack could just easily slice again and kill him. But it's like Joker and Batman, dude. Where like Batman never kills Joker because he secretly kind of like loves him and he needs a challenge. So he like always lets him go just enough. So Jack lets him go again, and it's just like, all right, I guess that wasn't it. And yeah, that's just meh. Okay, guys, we do have a few Jack facts for this week. So this episode is the longest one-on-one interaction between Jack and Aku in the entire series, which makes sense. They pretty much spend the entire episode fighting each other. This episode was also popular amongst the fan base due to both its humor and lamp shading. Not me, but the fan base, whatever that means. Also, this episode produced I guess a pretty famous meme here. It says, after the announcement of season 5 brought the series back into the public eye, Aku's extra thick line became a popular internet meme as extra thick. So that's just a little something there. Due to the name of this episode, which is Jack versus Aku, many people believe this was the series finale. Thank God it was not, dude. That would have been really bad. And then also to that point, after this episode, the series went on a hiatus for almost a year until the last 4 episodes of season 4 were released on September 25th, 2004. So not only was this like the last episode for a while, they didn't release any like the next week. So people were like, is that it? Is that how Samurai Jack ends? So I'm really glad it didn't end like that, because that would have been super, super disappointing. But sadly, this was Iwamatsu, who voices Aku, his final performance in the series as Aku before his death nearly 3 years later and before the series went into hiatus. So that's too bad. This is his final hurrah here. I did not know that going into the episode. So, and then there is one little goof here, guys. 3 minutes and 23 seconds in, the tip of the robot's extending cannon repeats twice. I didn't pick up on that, but that is the one goof here, and those are our Jack facts for this week. All right, guys, that's it. That's another episode in the books. 48 down now, so we are getting there. We are really getting there. So thanks for checking out Project Potter. Thanks for checking out Gotta Get Back. This one was, I think, kind of quick. I didn't have much to say on it. There's really not much to happen other than like a lengthy fight between human Aku and human Jack. So there wasn't any crazy sword fights or anything like that, or magic tricks or anything. So I wasn't a big fan of this one, really. But thanks for checking out Project Potter. Like, comment, subscribe, guys. Ring that bell notification. Until next time. Gotta get back.